Tell me, how are we going to see technology delivering or sparking economic growth in the agricultural sector for a start? So we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think modern lives, the technology in modern life is all over. So agriculture is not going to be an exception. And looking at how much we are exciting the new generation of agricultural sector actors, they come with knowledge, they come with technological skills. So you expect that technology is not going to be the old way of technology that we know as seed and fertilizers. The technology is going to be ICT for extension messages, for marketing platforms, for powering the irrigation. So you feel like the technology is going to be all over, because the African agriculture is changing and is coming with all of the modern way of living. Right.
Yeah. Beautiful. Dr. Agnes, we do know that analysts say that we should focus on technologies that can make the entire value chain nutrition sensitive, from smallholders to big retailers. Kofi Annan, on the other hand, RIP to him, he said that one technology that lies beneath the food security, rather the food system, is electrical power. Now, that is just one. What else do you think needs to be hastened with the conversation to technology and agriculture?
I mean, if you draw a parallel from that, probably the next thing would be taking the whole infrastructure thing all the way. So it would be access to roads. It would be, because there, if you're talking about energy, you're talking about how farmers are dealing with post-harvest losses. You're talking about how farmers are engaging in the value chain. But that wouldn't happen without the right level of connectivity. So access to feeder roads for farmers is very critical to markets. So I would think that in that spectrum, I would really focus as well on feeder roads. But that's really like getting capturing the situation halfway. There's a whole lot range that needs to happen, what the minister was just talking about in terms of access to improved seeds, access to fertilizers, and then taking advantage of all the connectivity we now have through 70% of our population now having more access to mobile telephone, probably now more, and now an increasing number of our population, including youth, having access to internet and smartphones and stuff like that. So there's really improved connectivity that would all of us should take advantage of, and electricity, as he said, would just be core to making that happen.
What is happening in Kigali is definitely starting on the 5th to the 8th of September. We're looking at the Africa Green Revolution Forum happening right here, hosted by Rwanda. This is the first time that we're actually hosting this, and it's in its 7th edition, I guess. I'll start with the Minister of Agriculture in Rwanda. I think this has a lot to mean to the agriculture sector, but in which way, or where do you see this actually leading its contribution, direct contribution?
Yeah, the Africa Green Revolution Forum is a continental-wide forum, and it does attract, I mean, captains of industry, both from all the way from farmers to private sector to continental leaders to CEOs of global and regional and local companies. So you feel like it's a marketplace where everyone is meeting to discuss agriculture, to make decisions that can impact what is happening in agricultural space, but also making, conversations, investment deals, all of those things, they happen in a one-room setting. Mm-hmm. So when you think of it, it's looking at how fast agriculture is transforming in Africa, you feel like this is the right moment to have everyone in the room and discuss how do we speed up, how do we take to the next level what we are doing here.
All right. Dr. Agnes, we're looking at the likes of Strive Masiyiwa. We're seeing people like Rajiv Shah from Rockefeller Foundation. We're seeing people like Ambassador Kenneth Quinn from the Africa Food Prize. Of course, all of these delegates are going to be convened under one roof, and to mainly talk about agriculture on the continent, which has only contributed about 8% of the global total exports. Of course, we did see a 2% negligible decline as of recent years. But tell me, what are some of the conversations that should be brought to the table with such emergency during this conference?
I just want to recognize that while yes, we are very small, we are still small as a continent in terms of export. But the two critical things that we need to worry about is that agriculture definitely contributes 100% to our food security. So right. That's not negligible. It then contributes between 30 to 45% to our GDP. That's not negligible. That's huge in terms of GDP, in terms of what agriculture can do to reduce poverty, and in terms of what agriculture can do to improve our economies. So if that alone, we focused on that, definitely there's a lot to do. We also have a huge room, talking about the 8% you're talking about, there's huge room to move agriculture to the next level in terms of what we could earn from an export perspective, so that we can start earning foreign exchange from agriculture. So the fourth area then would be how we use agriculture to create jobs. So if all these things fell in place, then agriculture sector is probably next to none in terms of the value that it brings to communities. And that's really the reason once a year, every year we bring this forum together in terms of leaders of the industry, like you've said, people that care about development. Strive Masiyiwa is not a leader in the industry, but he cares about development and development perspective. And find people in the private sector, find people in development sector, find people in government, our leaders, and find farming communities and bring them together in a manner that actually allows all of us to have a conversation around what is important. The four things that we talk about, the food security, the creating wealth. I like the way we talk about it in Rwanda. It's not poverty reduction, it's creating wealth. The creating wealth using agriculture, the improving our export capacity, and the creating jobs for youth. Those are very critical areas that we must focus on and get moving, and the agriculture sector provides huge opportunities there. Let's
take a pause there and bring it back to the Honorable Minister. We're trying to track the conversation on progress. What progress has been made in the agriculture sector so far in Rwandan terms?
I think when you talk about the progress of agriculture sector, I need to look at, what is happening.
Sure.
The Rwanda people are getting foods on the plate every day, and even if you look at how many events are taking place, all of these people are getting fed. But also when you look at it, not into the food security perspective, a few minutes ago you mentioned about exports. The agriculture sector is contributing 50% of our national exports. And from July last year to this July, when you look at, we grew our exports from around 360 million USD to 515 million USD in a one-year term. That means an increase of export around 44%. That is an increase. And all of these exports, they don't come from the traditional way of looking at agriculture. They come from horticultural products, flowers and vegetables. They come from value-added products like milled maize, well-packed beans. So when you look at it, agriculture is increasing, but also the quality of it is increasing, because, if we say the horticultural products, we are talking about an industry that can create, when we talk about the Gishari Flower Park, the Bella Flowers, we were able to create more than 500 jobs in a year time. Nice. You will never find any industry that is creating that much job in a year time. So when you look at the growth in general, you need to look at it both in a quantitative term, but also in a qualitative term, because all of these jobs that are being created, you find that majority of them are high school graduates.
All right.
So when we talk about the quality of job, we like to say about clean job or good jobs, but they pay exactly the same amount of money per hour or per day. So when you think of it, people look at agriculture as a dirty job, but it's not that.